So I just came back from my 5-day meditation retreat at Spirit Rock, and I thought I'd do a video to compare it to my 10-day meditation retreat. So this 5-day meditation retreat was the second retreat I've ever did. And I made a video about the 10-day meditation retreat that I was in a few months ago. And I thought I'd do another one now as well, just to sit and reflect on the experience and how it feels like going on a retreat the second time around. And going on a retreat a second time around really feels like reading a book twice. It really feels like I'm soaking in everything that I was learning on the first retreat, but in a more deeper state. 5-day versus 10-day, easy way to put it is the 5-day, on day 3, you have 2 days left. On a 10-day, on day 3, you have an entire week left. So if you're counting days on day 3 for a 10-day, you're not going to make it. You have to let go. And if so, it almost forces you to go into the abyss, go into the unknown. The 5-day, you could hold on really, and really like, I only have 5 days left. I only have 4 days left, and really counting down the days and not letting go of things and attachments that are still stringing you along to the outside world. Also, it was a big difference so this 5-day retreat was a young adult retreat, and I was on the tail end of that section and probably just made the cutoff. So I was the oldest person, or one of the oldest people on this retreat, on the 5-day retreat at Spirit Rock, versus I was the youngest on the 10-day retreat. And that's a big difference in energies, right? One is an energy of just like, this youthfulness, like excited, hopeful, a lot of positivity. The 10-day retreat was a lot more mature, a lot of depth there. We talked about heavy topics, like grief, forgiveness, going into the pain, going into the suffering. Whereas in this 5-day retreat, it felt a little more surface level. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm saying that I have to experience pain to make this retreat worthwhile. If anything, I'm very happy and glad I got to have a very blissful, thank God, retreat, because, it's an easy way to come back into to my day to day, and versus in the 10-day retreat where we were talking about much heavier subjects. It felt like a roller coaster of just going from the lows to the highs and back down, and then back up again. So one thing I will say as my advice, you can take it for whatever it's worth, just based on these 2 retreats that I've been on, is reflecting on a few questions. And I have, a few questions that I think can be very foundational if you are trying to go on any retreat. And the first question is, am I here? Am I here in my body? Am I in my feeling? Am I feeling the sensations, or am I in my head? And an easy way I would do this in the retreat is to almost anchor myself or ground myself to my feet first. That's the easiest way for me. Really feeling the feet, pressing down on them, feeling the weight of the gravity, pushing down on my body, feeling my sit bones, almost feeling like the back of my chair. Am I feeling drawn or resistance towards this? And what am I trying to escape? I would frequently ask this during the 5-day retreat. Am I drawn to something, or am I facing resistance? And I would say between the 5-day and the 10-day, there's different levels of resistance, right? The 10-day, it almost felt like there's more resistance to pain, and going to the pain ports, versus the 5-day, there was a resistance to connecting, because there's a lot of people your age group and you want to connect with these people, and you want to understand why they're there and what they learned, and you can feel that enthusiasm, energy towards the end of the retreat, where you can talk again, and lo and behold, everyone is a chatterbox, and everyone wants to just know and learn about one another and connect. So it was a wonderful feeling. If I'm not here, where is the mind getting lost? And what does it feel like when awareness isn't present? So frequently, I would see if the mind was just in this chatterbox of problem solving. It was if it was in a future state. Sometimes like random things would come up from the past. This time a lot, less so, interesting enough. And what does it feel like when the awareness is not present? So, it would just feel very heady. It would feel like I'm just thinking through my problems instead of just trying to be present and see the experience itself. So another thing, all these questions that I'm giving as advice to people who want to go on a retreat, a lot of these learnings came from the first retreat, and it solidified in the second retreat. So it allowed me to kind of come into the second retreat with more intention. So that's why I'm sharing these questions. Are the answers to things, solutions coming from my thoughts or feelings, sensations, or shift in understanding? So if I feel a shift in understanding of a situation, that's very different from just thinking through a particular pattern. Or if I feel like a feeling, like a sensation in my solar plexus, or my heart's beating faster, and I can connect that with what happened, and maybe a shift occurs, there's something big that just happened in forms of release or in understanding. So on the 10-day retreat, I learned that parts work was very compatible with the meditations. So a lot of the times when I was trying to feel, I was trying to connect it to the part and then go in the direction of, okay, if I can feel what's happening, I can connect with this part and give it what it needs in the feeling realm. Some shift can take place. So just maybe asking yourself, what does the part need when you're connected to the feeling? A big tip that I have for people who are meditating is be kind to yourself. So every single time I would notice myself drifting in terms of awareness, I'd be like, wow, nice job. Like, good on you for figuring that out. And that's a new thing. I don't think I give myself enough praise or accept praise, and just being able to accept that kind remarks from yourself feels nice. And that was giving me a positive feedback loop. Oftentimes during the 5-day retreat, I would want to think. I would almost want to go into the problem solving. I would want to figure out, like, okay, what can I do here in this situation? And so just asking yourself, what does it feel like to want to think? Sometimes there's no need to think, because memories would just come up, and that's something you can deal with instead of wanting to force yourself to come up with something. Just let it be and see what happens. So I randomly have, I don't know why I have this, but I have I think it was at the hospital or whatnot, but I have an MRI of myself. And if you can see, there's an L4, L5, like big, herniation disc, right? So, and this is huge. And I hope this benefits someone who's going through pain. There's two ways of looking at pain that I found that have been helpful. One is almost broadening the experience of pain, which is, okay, maybe I feel pain in my foot because of my sciatica, broadening that to, where, like my knee, my leg, my, torso, my entire body, or my, start with my toe, then my foot, my ankle, my tibia, leg, whole body. So just broadening the experience, almost like, rain droplets on the skin versus the humidity, the feeling of humidity all over my skin. There's two completely different sensations. And I would frequently do this meditation, which is for healing pain. So I would imagine my health being perfect. I would imagine the inflammation in my back is gone and the feeling in my foot is 100% restored. And then in that meditative state, I would feel the joy and happiness of being healthy. Then I would imagine a place in my childhood that was loving, like a memory, and I would feel it in my heart. And then I would infuse that energy to my back. Really imagining that memory, that childhood memory. For me, that was like, there was this park that we used to go to near Toys R Us. So it was a routine. We'd go to Toys R Us and then we would eat a slice of pizza. And then we would go on this walk right by the beach. And I remember it was some of the happiest moments. So what does it smell like? Imagine the smells, the sounds, and eventually after several times you'll notice the sensations that you're imagining are actually happening. And I think this is the way the body starts to heal itself during meditation. Okay, so I kind of want to just want to end with a few more thoughts and reflections. What is the heart? What is love? What does that even mean? Alexis in the previous retreat mentioned this, which was, it's like a dear friend sitting next to you and telling you, hey, you can be wherever you want to be. It's all right. I'm here. I'm okay with whatever comes up. So it's that quality of no parts excluded. Like the quality of allowing whatever is there to come up. One of my intentions for this retreat was to show up authentically. Just be whoever that was. So instead of just getting it right, allowing myself to be, it's all right. It's okay. It's enough. It doesn't have to be any different. And then just ending the day with no regrets. That felt very worthwhile. Sometimes when you're meditating, there's like a pattern that comes over and over again. And if you're in a state of mind where you can do something about this pattern, I would say maybe explore it. So for example, maybe there's an interest in loneliness, and so it's set an intention. Is there loneliness present, while I'm meditating? And I would just notice when loneliness is present and not present. What does it feel like in the body when loneliness is present? Where am I? Is there an environmental component to it? Do I feel it in my solar plexus, in my heart space? What can I do about it? And to answer that, I try to connect with that feeling when it is present. And just dropping in the question like, what do you need? Because we know that the healing happens in the feeling realm, in the change experience. So while connecting with this emotion of loneliness and giving the part what it needs, asking these questions, I'm also noticing how it affects the body. And if there's any subtle shift in the body in terms of sensation, I know there's something there that shifted. And maybe it's a release that happens. Or maybe it's a shift in how that sensation manifested. It's now taking on a different form. And that's more than enough for me. So I want to just conclude this video by just saying, do go on, really take in the experience of the retreat. You can go in completely empty-handed, or maybe if some of the things that I mentioned in this video resonate, just hold that in some regard, and let it go if it doesn't serve you. And I just hope more people can experience this practice and know that feeling post-retreat when you're just driving your car. It feels like you're high on something, because it feels, I would love for people to be able to experience the feeling of during the retreat, but then also after the retreat, of that groundedness that sticks for however many days, maybe weeks. And if you can formulate the habit to practice on a more frequent basis, I have no doubt in my mind that it would shape the world. It would shape your community, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. Because that power that's coming, that came to me during this retreat in particular, was becoming because of the confidence I felt in being okay, that equanimity of allowing whatever's here to be here, and knowing that I can handle it. And in a way, that power is coming from finding truth in a painful place. So it's through the pain that we find our truth, and from the truth we found our power. And that's what was the takeaway for me on this retreat. And I hope we all can be our authentic selves, whatever that is, whatever shape and form that takes. Thank you.